Hello there, frugal friends. Are you all okay? It's Sunday morning here for me. If you can see the clock, it is just nearly 11 o'clock. And why am I excited? Because it's nearly 11 o'clock, because we're with British Gas and we get half price electricity on a Sunday from 11 till 4. So that is the time where all the things to do with electric get done. So what have we got planned? Let me tell you. The washing machine is about to go on. We've still got quite a bit of washing to go, so that's going to be on multiple times today. At the moment, I'm using up some soda crystals that we've got that have gone. This pack's been open for a while, so they've gone a bit hard, so I'm using those up. I've still got a few more packs of these upstairs, so we're going to use those. And then cooking wise, the oven's going to go on. We got some buttermilk in our bread and butter thing, so I thought, what's nice to make buttermilk scones. So we have got that. I've got a recipe there that we've organised. If you've not already seen it, we have made sort of not sausage rolls. We've made chickpea rolls, and they came out delicious. Chris absolutely loved them, so we're doubling the quantity today, and they froze really well, so we're going on with that. The next thing that we've got going on is some sandwich meat that I make for Chris using tofu and vital wheat gluten. There is a video all about that, and I think I've made buttermilk scones before, I can't remember. The next thing that's going on is the stock. We have got all our veggie scraps out of the freezer, so the Instant Pot's going on. And so now the clock is saying bang on 11 o'clock. So the oven is going on. The washing machine is going on. Now, if it was a rainy day, we could possibly use the dryer as well, and it would be half price, which would save us a bit of money. At the moment, it's not too bad, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Time saver to make sure. So the wash I use is a D on this particular machine, which is hot enough to clean but cool enough to use a bit less electricity, plus time saver means it saves a little bit extra. That is that. Hopefully the door is locked. Occasionally the door doesn't lock. Door locked. That's that. Lid on to the Instant Pot. Get that, I want to find the right one, plugged in. There we are. There we go. A little bit of a jiggle in the back. We are going to pressure cook on high for maybe 15 minutes. Remember to press start. Don't always remember to press start. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out the food processor. Okay, in the food processor, and I weighed everything in the food processing bowl onto the scales. So I've doubled the recipe that I'm using. So this is 450 grams of self-raising flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, 100 grams of cold unsalted butter. I'm using Flora, so that's dairy free. 60 grams of caster sugar. You don't have to use it, it's there if you want to. And then I've got this buttermilk, and it recommends about 300 mils of buttermilk and extra for brushing. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to 100% measure it, because I often find it depends on your flour how much you need to add. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate just until it comes together. I've also got some sultanas that I'm going to throw in. Now, I wouldn't normally put these in the food processor if you want to keep them whole, but I'm not too fussed about them getting a bit chopped up. I'm not a big fan of great big lumps of fruit in my scones, so I'm not too fussed about these. I'm just going to get this going a little bit, and then I'm going to add these. So let's pop the lid on. There we go, and give it a pulse. Now it says until it looks like breadcrumbs. Now I'm just going to check that the butter's actually incorporated into there. Just going to use my knife. Make sure it's not all just down at the bottom hiding. That looks pretty well incorporated, like I say. I'm going to throw in some sultanas now. So it's up to you how many you put in. I'm not going to count them individually. It's probably maybe 40-50 grams in there. Then go again. So they're probably nicely chopped up. Now I'm going to add my buttermilk. Just going to start at the top and pour in through the little hole until it kind of combines together. Now this is a well, it's measured as 1 kilo, but it looks about 1 litre. So I am just going to start pouring. So I'm just going to put this on slow. Okay, that's not looking too bad. I think I've possibly added a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend this a little bit longer, and if I need to, I can add a little bit of extra flour. So I did use a little bit too much buttermilk, but I just added a bit of extra flour to the mixture and it brought itself back together. It's still a little bit sticky, so I've just put some flour on the work surface. Now, the one thing I like to do when I'm making scones to make sure that you get definite lots of layers is I do like to fold it a few times, and it seems to work if you do that. So I've folded it 4 times. It's almost like if you're making a flaky pastry, you do folds to create layers. So there we go. I'm just going to flatten this out now. I don't tend to use a rolling pin, one, because it's one less thing to wash up, and I like to feel my dough. There we go. Now I've put the food processor container in the sink just on a bit of a soak, ready for the next thing. So all these are going to be made in the food processor. So I'm going to get out my cutters and get those ready. There we go, scones done. Brush with some of the buttermilk. Did have a bit of mixture left, so I thought I'd just do a cheat one on there. These are going to go into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, and in that 10 to 12 minutes I'll have enough time to wash up what I need to wash up, wipe down this surface, and be ready for the next lot. Oh, and the rest of the buttermilk, I'm just going to chuck it in the freezer for next time. Well, I've still got another 5 minutes before those scones are ready. So what I've done is this is the recipe for the chickpea sausage rolls. If you want to watch a video about that, I'll put a link at the end of this video. But basically, I'm doubling this recipe. So in here, I've got 2 cans of chickpeas. I didn't have any red onions, so I've just put normal onion in. Tomato puree, the dill, paprika, chilli, nutritional yeast, oats. The one thing I am missing is some oil, and it's 2 teaspoons of oil that's meant to come from some sun-dried tomatoes, but I haven't got them, and I didn't use them in the last recipe. So there we go. And because we're doubling, let's make it up to 4. Okay, that's that. I have saved my chickpea water to use for other things. If I don't use it up quick enough, I will probably just throw it in the freezer and have done with that. So all I'm going to do now is blend this up to a nice consistency. There we go. So this time what I did was I put in all the ingredients to see if I could do a whole processing thing. Originally meant to put the chickpeas, red onion, tomatoes and oil, blend those first and then mix in the other ingredients. Yeah, I think it's come out all right. It takes a little bit longer to process. So you just have to kind of keep an eye on it and make sure you don't over process it, make sure you push things down. But it seemed to work okay. So that is that, and now I'm going to make my sausage rolls. So as soon as the scones came out, turned the heat down to 160 and finished off making these. The only thing I'll say is be careful with your pastry if you're making a larger amount and you're having your pastry out for too long, because it does start to go a little bit squidgy, which is why we've got a little bit of squidginess there. I'll quickly show you the scones. Those are already out. Chris has already stolen 2. They look really, really nice and light. So I'm going to get these in. This is on a natural release now, so I'll leave it for about 15 minutes just so it can naturally release, and then we'll sort that out. Washing machine is on a rinse and spin, so that's going to be making a bit of noise, and I'm going to make my sandwich meat next, and that can go in the oven at the same sort of time, same sort of temperature as these. This is the homemade sandwich meat recipe that I use. I actually skip the nutritional yeast now. It's not 100% needed and it still works out really, really well. The sage rosemary I kind of intermix at the moment. We're using Cajun instead to make it a different flavour, and sometimes I put in, what else do I put in? Maybe some garam masala or something like that, just to make a curry flavoured sort of meat. Basically you just blend all the tofu, add all the other ingredients bar the vital wheat gluten, give it a bit of a whiz, and then I just start adding the vital wheat gluten a little bit at a time. It says 1 cup, but I find it depends varying on which tofu I use, because some tofu is more moist than others. So yeah, so I'm just going to blitz that now until it comes together into a dough. So all we did was just take it out of the food processor, knead it into a sausage shape. You can tell how much the vital wheat gluten is in there by how stretchy it is. And then I just put a little bit of oil on the foil, sprinkle some herbs in it, roll it in that. There we go, try and make it a bit even, although it does swell up quite a bit. And then it steams first, and then we open it halfway through, and then it will roast off in the oven. Now in the oven I've got the sausage rolls, and I've put them on the top and the bottom shelf because this is the wider shelf for when I need to unwrap it. That is that. So everything's in the oven, the washing's nearly finished, the stock has just been doing a natural release, so that should be near enough done. Okay, we are done, except my hand is not strong enough to do it with the wrong hand. So in there is all of our stock. I will strain that, and then it'll just go in a container and go in the freezer. And what time are we on? It is just nearly 5 to 12, and look how much we've got done in that 1 hour, which is brilliant. Right, there's my container of stock. You can possibly see steam still coming off it, so I'm just going to leave that to cool before I put it in the freezer. This is a really nice depth of flavour on this, lots of onioniness in there. What else has happened? Oh, second wash on. First wash, getting ready to go outside. First lot of these are coming out, second lot are near enough done. I'm going to take those out as well. Scones are pretty much cool, going to go in this container. I'm going to put a few of them in a container on the side so that we've got them to use over the next couple of days if needed, and the rest of them are just going to go in the freezer, and they will defrost really, really easily. Right, so we're heading for 2 o'clock. No, we're not. We're heading for 1 o'clock now, so it's been 2 hours since we started. Second wash is part way through, getting onto the rinse and spin. Everything's finished in the oven. So sausage rolls and scones all done, just cooling off, cooling off. The 3 tubs here that I'm prepping are for Chris's sandwiches. So I've got a loaf of bread hanging around there ready. And I'm basically going to make all these sandwiches for the week. They just get put in a container and thrown into the bottom of the fridge, and it's worked for us. I used to just do 3 days at a time, and then one day I was like, oh, I'm going to do the week, and it's been absolutely fine. Chris has no issues with it whatsoever. I know not everybody wants to do that, but it works for us. So what I'm going to do now is, while this sandwich meat is cooling off, I'm going to prep all the rest of the bread. So I on average do 3 slices of bread per day, so that's 15 over the week. So I'll butter all those. I will put some, he's been liking some barbecue sauce on there, plus some chutneys that I've done. And then I will slice up this, leave it to cool, and then I'll make the sandwiches. So there'll be 2 containers that will be full of sandwiches. 1 container will just have the rest of the sandwich meat in there, because I won't use all of that for his sandwiches. And then it'll all go in the fridge. Right, it's 1:45. The third wash is about to go on. All the small items, you know, socks, cloths, underwear, etc., are all going on the maidens in the hallway. Unfortunately, it has decided to rain. We are going to have to use the dryer, but half price, so it's at least a bit of a bonus for us that we won't be paying full price for putting the dryer on. We could put the laundry all around the house, but then we will just end up with a very damp feeling house. This is where I wish I had a carport. you know, just something over the side of the house so that we could have a washing line underneath there that we could use all year round. But never mind, these are the things that are sent to try us. The weather is one of them. So we are pretty much done. So by the time 4 o'clock comes, everything will be done and all put away. And there's all our food prep. There's our sandwiches, there's our leftover meat. That will last. We often use that as well for if we're having a roast dinner. Scones are all done. Those are going to get bagged up and frozen. The sausage rolls. So quite a productive 3 hours. I mean, doing the washing's not that hard. You just put it in and press the buttons and it's all done. It's the putting away that takes the longest amount of time. So that is our money saving Sunday. We were going to take the dogs for a bit of a walk, but little dog is not a big fan of the rain. So we might just have to take big dog and see how we get on. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this bit of a look into what we do on a Sunday. I don't do this every Sunday because I don't always need to cook all the things on a Sunday, but if I'm going to do a load of stuff all at the same time, it is helpful to have it done on the day when you get the half price electricity. I have heard of some other companies doing this. I think Octopus is another one that does half price days or something like that. I know my dad's on what they used to call Economy 7. And what he does is he gets up in the middle of the night to go to the loo. And when he gets up, he takes a detour to the kitchen and puts a wash on so that it'll be on overnight. So it'll save him a little bit of money. And his electricity, because he's only on electric, he's not on any gas. He has managed to reduce his monthly electric bill from about £110 a month down to £80. So I'm pretty pleased with that for him. He's done really well. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put a link to the sausage rolls over there and YouTube will pick you something fun to watch over there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.